The small green figure moved through the tall grass without making any sound. Griknak had been a scout for 40 cycles now. He knew how to move like shadow and breathe like wind. His large yellow eyes watched everything. His pointed ears heard everything. But today was different from all other days. Today the enemy was coming. Today the humans had asked for his help. Griknak remembered the first time he met the humans. His people called them the Tall Ones. They came from a world far away across the stars. When they landed on this planet 3 cycles ago, everyone thought they would be weak. They had no claws. They had no fangs. Their skin was soft and easy to cut. The Vornak Empire laughed at them. The mighty Vornak warriors said they would crush these soft creatures in one battle. But the Vornak were wrong. Very wrong. The humans did not fight like anyone else. They did not charge forward in straight lines. They did not announce their attacks with war drums. They hid in shadows. They struck from places no one expected. They used tricks and traps that made the Vornak scream in confusion. And when the Vornak thought they had won, the humans would appear again from somewhere else. Griknak crawled up to the top of a small hill. He pulled out his seeing glass and looked at the valley below. His heart beat faster. There they were. The Vornak army was marching through the valley, thousands of them. Their blue armor shined in the sunlight. Their weapons were big and heavy. Each Vornak warrior stood 8 feet tall with 4 arms and thick scales covering their bodies. They were the terror of 100 worlds. They had never lost a war. They had never shown mercy. But they had never fought humans before. Griknak counted quickly. 5,000 warriors. 20 war machines. 10 supply wagons. This was a large force. The Vornak commander must feel very confident. He thought he was going to destroy the last human base on this planet. He thought this war would end today. Griknak smiled. His sharp teeth showed in the sunlight. The Vornak commander was walking into a trap. He turned and ran back through the grass. His short legs moved fast. Goblin scouts were the best in the galaxy. Everyone knew this. The humans knew this too. That was why they asked the goblins to join them. Not as slaves like the Vornak wanted. Not as servants like other empires demanded. The humans asked them as equals, as friends, as brothers in battle. This was something new. This was something the goblins had never experienced before. Griknak reached the hidden camp in the forest. Human soldiers were everywhere, but they were invisible to anyone who did not know where to look. They wore suits that matched the colors of the trees. They lay in holes covered with leaves. They hung from branches like sleeping birds. Even Griknak, with his excellent eyes, had trouble seeing them sometimes. He found Commander Sarah Chun near a large rock. She was a small human female with black hair and dark eyes. But Griknak had learned that size meant nothing to humans. This small female had killed more Vornak than any other soldier in the army. She was fast. She was smart. She was completely without fear. Griknak made the goblin salute. His fist touched his heart 3 times. Commander Chun nodded at him with respect. This simple gesture meant more to Griknak than all the gold in the galaxy. The Vornak never respected goblins. They called them rats. They kicked them. They killed them for sport. But the humans treated them like warriors. Griknak reported what he saw. 5,000 Vornak, 20 war machines, 10 supply wagons, coming through the valley, moving fast. They would reach the ambush point in 2 hours. Commander Chun listened carefully. Her face showed no emotion. When Griknak finished, she smiled. It was a cold smile, a dangerous smile. Griknak had seen this smile before. It always came right before the humans did something terrible to their enemies. She spoke into her communication device. Her voice was calm and quiet. All units prepare. The targets are coming. Remember the plan. Wait for my signal. No one moves until I give the word. Griknak felt the excitement building in his chest. He had been part of many battles now. He had seen what humans could do when they worked together. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. The goblins spread out through the forest. There were 200 of them, all scouts, all silent, all deadly with their small poisoned blades. The humans had given them better weapons too. Small explosive devices that could destroy a war machine. Communication devices that let them talk across great distances. Armor that could stop a Vornak blade. The humans shared everything with them. This was another thing that amazed Griknak. Other empires kept their technology secret. They used it to control weaker species. But humans gave freely. They taught the goblins how to use every weapon. They explained how every device worked. They held nothing back. When Griknak asked why, Commander Chun had said something strange. She said that friends help friends. She said that sharing made everyone stronger. She said that the goblins deserved respect because they were brave and loyal. Brave and loyal. No one had ever called goblins brave before. 2 hours passed slowly. Griknak was in position on a cliff overlooking the valley. Below him, the Vornak army marched forward. They sang war songs. Their voices were loud and proud. They thought they were going to an easy victory. They thought the humans were trapped and waiting to die. The first Vornak soldiers entered the narrow part of the valley. High cliffs rose on both sides. The path was wide enough for only 50 warriors to walk side by side. The war machines rolled slowly behind the foot soldiers. The supply wagons came last. Griknak watched and waited. His heart was pounding now. His hands were sweating. This was the moment. Commander Chun's voice came through his communication device. One word. Now. The world exploded. Bombs hidden under the ground went off. Rocks fell from the cliffs. The front of the Vornak army disappeared in fire and smoke. The war machines twisted and broke like toys. Screams filled the air. Then the humans opened fire. They appeared from everywhere, from holes in the ground, from caves in the cliffs, from trees that seemed empty a moment ago. Their weapons were loud and fast. Each shot was perfectly aimed. Vornak warriors fell by the dozens, by the hundreds. The goblins attacked too. They ran down the cliffs with their explosive devices. They threw them at the surviving war machines. The machines exploded one by one. Black smoke rose into the sky. The Vornak tried to fight back. They were brave warriors. They formed defensive circles. They fired their own weapons. But they could not see their enemies. The humans moved too fast. They shot and disappeared. Shot and disappeared. Like ghosts with guns, Commander Chun led the main assault herself. She ran into the enemy with a rifle in her hands. She moved like water through the chaos. Every shot she fired killed a Vornak. When her rifle was empty, she pulled out 2 small guns and kept shooting. When those were empty, she pulled out a knife and fought hand to hand. Griknak watched in amazement. The commander was fighting 3 Vornak warriors at once. They were twice her size. They had 4 arms each. But she ducked and weaved and cut them down one by one. It seemed impossible. But humans often did impossible things. The battle lasted for 1 hour. When it was over, the Vornak army was destroyed. All 5,000 warriors were dead or captured. All 20 war machines were burning. All 10 supply wagons were taken. Human casualties were 37 wounded and 4 dead. Goblin casualties were 12 wounded and 2 dead. This was how humans fought. They did not meet their enemies in fair combat. They cheated. They tricked. They ambushed. And they won. The Vornak Empire had ruled 1,000 worlds for 10,000 years. They had never lost a war. But they had never fought humans before. Now, they were learning what every species in the galaxy would eventually learn. Humans were different. Humans were dangerous. Humans did not give up. Griknak helped collect the wounded after the battle. He found a young goblin named Trick who had been hit by Vornak fire. The wound was bad, but the human medics came quickly. They treated Trick with the same care they gave their own soldiers. They used their advanced medicine. They saved his life. Gricknack sat with Trick that night. The young goblin was weak but alive. He looked up at Gricknack with confused eyes. He asked why the humans helped them so much. He asked why they risked their lives for goblins. Gricknack thought about this question for a long time. Then he told Trick what Commander Chun had told him. Humans believed that every intelligent species had value. They believed that working together made everyone stronger. They believed in friendship and loyalty and honor. These were just words. But humans lived by these words. They did not just say them. They proved them every day. This was what made them different from every other species in the galaxy. Trick fell asleep with a small smile on his face. Gricknack stood up and walked out into the cool night air. He looked up at the stars. Somewhere out there, more human ships were coming. More soldiers, more weapons, more hope for all the species that had suffered under the Vornik Empire. The war was not over. Many battles remained. But for the first time in his life, Gricknack believed that his people might actually be free someday. Free from fear, free from slavery, free from the boots of their oppressors. And it was all because of the humans. The soft creatures with no claws and no fangs. The impossible warriors who refused to give up. The strangers from a distant star who called goblins their friends. Commander Chun found him standing there. She stood next to him and looked at the same stars. She did not speak. She did not need to. There was understanding between them now. The understanding of warriors who had fought together. The understanding of friends who had bled together. Tomorrow there would be more scouting, more reports, more ambush. The Vornak would send more armies. The fighting would continue, but tonight was for rest. Tonight was for remembering those who had fallen. Tonight was for gratitude. Gricknack made the goblin salute one more time. Commander Chun returned it with the human salute. Two species from different worlds. Two warriors from different cultures. But one purpose. One goal. One future. The stars shone down on them like promises waiting to be kept. And somewhere in the darkness, the Vornik Empire trembled, because they finally understood the truth. They were not fighting just humans. They were fighting an alliance. An alliance of all the species they had abused and enslaved and forgotten. An alliance led by the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy. The creatures called humans. The ambush was only the beginning.